Hello. As I said in my last video, I would do a timeline. So, the way I see it, we all know Young Justice takes place in 2011. Late 2011, early 2012. That would be considered year one, where Batman, Green Arrow, Aquaman, and Green Arrow, Batman, Aquaman, and the Flash, pardon me, brought in their sidekicks to the Hall of Justice with this promotional material. But really, it was just for show. This pissed off Speedy, or what we believe to be Speedy by the end of season 1, but I'll get to that later. If you've already seen the series, you already know, but this isn't the case for new fans. So, anyway, Speedy pretty much takes off out of anger and frustration. The fact that he's been considered a sidekick for so long, all of them even have been considered sidekicks for so long, only to be downgraded for a promotional, only to get this one chance at spotlight for a promotional stunt. But the reason they did it, it was just for the camera. They did it that way because of the cameras, to make it seem like they're on their way to become part of the Justice League. But really, they're going to be a part of a recon division called, as the series progresses, Young Justice. But before Speedy could know that, he takes off in frustration. He takes off before he could even know what's really going on. So, his loss. Anyway, the rest of the team pretty much, kicks back and just like, I put up with this for nothing? I'm with all this glamour and camera for nothing? Until they discover an incident with a flyer, superhero stuff. Until they inadvertently go into a facility called Cadmus. And something goes on over there, something that needs to be investigated. So Robin, Dick Grayson, Kid Flash, Aqualad, Calderon, not Garth and Teen Titans, and that's the tree at this point in time. Sorry, pretty much investigate. In the process, they pretty much dig up where you're gonna see Superboy. They're gonna find him in stasis during their escape after getting the data, and they bust him out. And he is highly defensive. And when a fight ensues, the three get captured. They consider cloning them after killing them in order to be shadows for the light, as the evil organization with all these supervillains, which includes Ra's al Ghul, Queen Bee, Lex Luthor, Vandal Savage, Ocean Master, King Arthur's brother, for a short period, but we never really know what happened to him. I'm gonna actually place my theory somewhere later in this video, and this may escalate to part 4, leaving my previous promise to be a part 5, but we'll see. The Brain and Witch Kid. I believe Witch Kid is, that you're just gonna have to look up on your own, because that is a complete complexity within the Young Justice mythos, and this is just the significant events, and I'm just not getting into it. They pretty much find a way to escape, stop the bad guys, and Superboy inadvertently adds to the roster. Not because he's a biological clone created by the bad guys. Superman is skeptical because, for one, he's not really sure. Well, one, he can tell he doesn't have full Kryptonian abilities. He thinks they're going to manifest in time, but he's kind of gone to where he's actually not Bruce Wayne level intelligence, but intelligence. Now, despite how my alien race is, they still had to use some type of human genome in order to balance out the Kryptonian DNA. So what we don't know, despite Cadmus, what he doesn't know is who the sample was. And with Cadmus being associated with these bad guys inadvertently, in Superman's mind, even though he never openly says in the series, he's kind of lingering to either Lex Luthor or just some random human they abducted. Some random human civilian they abducted. But a lot of paranoia with Clark Kent pins to Lex Luthor. Even though this is easily confirmed 5 to 10 episodes later. And, God, man, I'm 5 minutes in. You know what? You already know the origin episode. Pretty much everything that happens in season 1, where they go through missions over and over and over again. They develop the supervillains, develop, more superhero battles against the light, and like this partner where you see partner and Boom Tubes, and then at one point you see Boom Tubes like Cyborg's not around, or at least not referenced at this point in time, and based off DC Rebirth. So why would you have Boom Tubes? Darkseid. I'm just gonna say it. Darkseid. I'm no. Sorry, it's late, and sorry. I wanted to give you a proper rundown, but I had a lot of Christmas shopping to go through, and I just ain't got this time strength for it. So long story short, the Speedy we go to know turns out to be a clone of the original Roy Harper, who was a shadow for Vandal Savage in order to finally become a member of the Justice League, infiltrate the Watchtower, and corrupt the Justice League's mentality with these little spike micro things to where Vandal Savage could easily override into Watchtower and bask in his glory. Even though he used shadow tactics to complete his plan. He used shadow tactics. But, yeah. Now, we're going to transition in between the gap. Shortly after where the final battle of Season 1 takes place, which was just in time for New Year's, we pretty much transition into year 2. Now, Zatanna, despite Dick Grayson and Zatanna are dating, she still has this urge to free her father from Dr. Fate. And around this time, she proves her worth throughout missions, and if she wants to, she can go ahead and take what I like to call the Justice League initiation test. Although she pins that as a cop-out for dumping Dick Grayson. Dick Grayson, being a smart kid, not as smart as Tim Drake will later be, he pretty much figures out this is mostly about freeing Zatanna, Zataro, Zatanna's father, from the Dr. Fate or the Helmet of Naboo, and that's what this is really about. And so she's pretty much using in-team dialogue to save his feelings. He's bitter, but he openly agrees to break things off. And he finally gets his opportunity to call the shots leading into Teen Titans. But instead of the original series, at least how it pinned out back then, Teen Titans is going to be a secondary team that's going to further combat the crime input between the Jump City, Gotham area, and all this and that, and with the rise of Deathstroke, at least in that rural area, and the crime, all this and that. So that, and during that time, and with this, we all know from Teen Titans, this transition between the period of year 2, year 3, and a good bit of year, and I believe half of year 4, 2.5, maybe all of year 4, since it was like 2 to 3 years. And we get a whole lot of recruits in that time. Beast Boy finally manifesting his powers, even though he goes to Teen Titans. Raven, Teen Titans exclusive. Starfire, Teen Titans exclusive. Cyborg, Teen Titans exclusive. You know what? This thing's really starting to wrap up, so I may have to split this video. And this just is what it is. But, yeah. He pretty much gets the chance to call the shots with the Titans. Now, during this process, Batman would need a new Robin, to where he recruits Jason Todd to further work alongside Kid Flash, Artemis, Superboy, Aqualad, and McGann, Miss Martian. Jason is nowhere near Dick Grayson in terms of sovereignty, nobilism. He's not a bad guy. He's just a full-scale street rat, and he's trying to get away and use it kind of like Arsenal did later down the road, to where he uses, not so much uses the team, but he pretty much puts himself in overzealous situations to further himself, not only be more effective in the overall mission they're trying to do, but also safeguard against his personal demons, because he resents his father, Willis Todd, for being the dirtbag that he is. I will continue this in part 2 of my timeline.